Today we talk in our virtual studio with Alexander Bonvin, who is the director of the Biofood Institute for Biomedicine. So, welcome, Alexander.
Hi, Ed. Nice to see you again.
Okay,
this time virtually,
thank you.
yes.
Yeah, well, but we manage. Okay, it's only close. It's only 30 kilometers, but anyway. Can you tell a little bit about what you do and what your institute is doing?
Yes, so I'm a professor at Utrecht University. My field is computational structural biology, and I'm also director of the Biofood Center for Biomolecular Research, where we are studying the molecule of life at an atomic level using all kinds of biochemical and biophysical techniques, and in particular interaction between those. And in my group, we develop in particular software to model those interactions, basically solve 3D puzzles. And the most known software for that is our HADDOCK software, which is also operating as a web portal with a very large worldwide user base, more than 17,000 people using it through our web portals. Yep.
Yeah, so, and what are the people doing on that portal?
So the portal basically provides users with a friendly access to our resources, and they use it to model interactions between different kind of biomolecules, protein, small drugs. So for drug design, it's also used. And in particular, these days, it's used a lot also for COVID-related research. So we have seen in the last couple of months an increase in the number of registration to the portal. So we have almost double the number of registration, of monthly registration. We see that we have more users who are active on the portal. And we also seen a doubling of the number of submissions to the portals. So what are people doing? In terms of COVID-related research, they can study the interactions that proteins from the virus are doing with our human proteins, like the receptor that they need to attack to enter our cells, or people are trying to design small molecules, other proteins, that kind of protein engineering fields, to block the entrance of the virus. And ourselves, we've also been playing that game a bit and trying to repurpose existing drugs, so approved drugs that are on the market, to see if we could find some that will allow to block some of the key proteins of the virus. So it's really about solving 3D puzzles in a computer. And for that, we need a lot of computational resource also, because so our software is required. It's kind of a high throughput compute model. So we do one submission from the user is translated into thousands of individual small tasks, and those tasks are running on the European Open Science Grid. So that's high throughput computing. It's a grid of computers distributed all around Europe, but it's reaching further than just Europe through EGI. So we're going to the US, the Open Science Grid. We have sites in Asia that are supporting us. So we have access to more than 100,000 computers, or CPU cores, I should say, distributed around the world. So the server itself sends in the order of 10 to 15 millions of jobs to those resources. But we could not operate the server without having also a local infrastructure. And that's the important
Okay, part. Yeah. So what you do is that the users that you have, that are the people that are studying the compounds, that are submitting jobs to your platform, and that the platform distributes it all around Europe and gathers the results back and gives it back to the user.
Yes.
And then that's the way it works. Okay, then I understand it. A little bit. You say you also need some local computing power. So, and what do you need it for if you have all the computers in the world?
Well, the machinery which is behind the hood basically is a rather complex workflow. First of all, we have to have a registration machinery in place, which fulfill the GDPR security privacy issues of the EU. There is all kind of pre-processing that you need to do. There's all kind of post-processing that you need to do. So we need local resources for that. We are also operating several different portals. So HADDOCK, which I mentioned, is one of them, but we are all portals. So we need first a powerful server just to serve the portals and do the pre-post processing. But also this high throughput compute model, grid computing model, works well for small jobs, small loads of data. So we can transfer data, but you cannot transfer gigabyte of data. That will be killing the entire network and it will simply not work. So when we get problems that are too large to be handled by the grid, we need our local resources. So you need a mix of this large distributed infrastructure and local resources as well. So we have our own clusters. Actually, we have 3 clusters still operating to do our own research first, because we are also doing our own research, and to redirect the systems that are too complex or too large to go to this distributed computing.
Mm-hmm. And what type of clusters do you use?
So we have now we had several clusters over the years, and currently we have still 3 in operations, and these are Linux system, which we purchase via ClusterVision, and the latest version of that one is operating since 8 months, so that's the one that's going to provide support or services for the next coming years. So that's a system of about 480 cores. Together, if we take all the hardware that we are in the order of 2,000 cores that we are using, in part for our own research, in part to serve the users worldwide.
Yeah, and is it only the hardware that's important? Only the hardware from ClusterVision, or?
No, I think the hardware is just one component. You could probably, hardware you can buy everywhere, and then you can put it together. But the operation of the hardware is a very important component for me. So what I like about the solutions that ClusterVision has been offering us over the year is, we purchase those solutions as turnkey. Not that we don't have the expertise to build a cluster ourselves, but time is money. So we want to have a nice cluster management system. And we are different over the years, and the most recent system is using Trinity X, which is a software developed by ClusterVision, which also has the advantage that it's an open source software. So if you want to build your own cluster, you can use that management system. But for us, it's important to have tools that are working out of the box, because my people are mainly involved in software development or research, but I don't have like a system administrator to take care of the daily routine. So you want to have tools that are in place and just work without taking too much of your time. And that's an important component. You pay a bit more upfront, but it saves you a lot of time along the way, and time is money at the end.
Yeah. So, and you said that there were more users now because of the COVID-related research, and you see an increase. Does that mean that you have to expand your system soon, or?
So we do expect. So we see an increase over since probably March. We see more registration, more use of our services. So we had to adapt partly the way that we are doing things on the site. So we had to fine-tune the machinery, the workflow which is running behind the portal. So that's our own software problem. But we also expect to expand our resource in the coming years to offer more capacity. Also because some of the other cluster that we have are getting out of life. So we're going to retire a few, and we want to invest and expand our current resources so that for the coming years we are in business and we can serve the community as much as possible.
Okay. Yeah, it proves to be a very useful type of research that you're doing. I think a lot of people are interested in that. Did you get a lot of interest and a lot of questions from the general public or the press or the type?
So we do get,
people?
especially in the last couple of months. So we have been in the picture also because of. So we are part of the European Open Science Cloud Hub project, which is a European project. And the EU has been putting a lot of focus also in the last months to support any kind of COVID-related activities. So since 1st of April, now the users can tag their submission as being COVID-related, which allows us to monitor submissions. And we have probably seen about 1/3 of all the submissions since April are COVID-related. And I guess it amounts about, say, 100 maybe on average per day of submission related to COVID. Being able to tag those also gives you allows you to redirect the jobs to some sites that are supporting us, especially for COVID projects. So since April, we have access to additional compute resources from specific sites in France, in Germany, but also the US Open Science Grid has giving us access to their resources, especially for this kind of research. So that's, and all of this is also being seen, you know, the infrastructure provider, this European project, they want to be able to show that the infrastructure, the e-infrastructure is used for good purposes these days. So we are getting a news item from the EU and from other projects showing what we can contribute and what is the impact. Because of, especially the last month, you know, we were all in lockdown in some way or another, but computing and this kind of software-related in silico research has been going on. So we have been busier than ever in the last months, and many people who were used maybe to do experiments realized that they could still do something in a computer, even if they were locked down at home. And we have been contributing a small stone, one of the walls behind me, to
Yep.
helping people.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish you a lot of success, you and your users, with helping to do more research into this area.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
Thank
thanks for the interview.
Yeah,
Okay.
see you around in real life next time. Huh?